Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
All
Yes, yes,
right,
yes,
all right,
yes.
all right. It was wonderful listening to you, ladies. Barb, I'm going to write a love letter to myself.
Absolutely. And you know what? And one of the things I will say about that too is if it doesn't make you cry, you're not going deep enough.
Ooh,
Whoa.
You're not going deep enough.
that's
You have to
powerful.
absolutely love on yourself
Mhm.
because it's in those wells of love that you're going to be able to become that well of love for somebody else.
That's right. That's right. That's right. How can you pour out love to someone else if you're empty on loving yourself?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So do it
Yeah.
yeah.
yourself. Yeah. Go
And you
start with
know,
you.
it's funny because I know the days when I don't love myself, I don't really talk too much to people
Mhm, mhm.
because I don't want it, because I already feel like, okay, it's not fair for others to, whatever I'm going, whatever's dealing with. I really don't want to, and because I don't want to put that out there. So I
Mhm.
know those days when I'm like, no, no, no. I need to sit back and really get that, fill myself back up with that because I
Right.
don't want to spread that around to other people because that's, like you just said, Barbara, negative is so easy because it seems like that's our first thought process, which is really sad, isn't it? Isn't that
Mhm.
sad? Like you said, 90 some percent. What was it? 90
Oh,
whatever.
85% of the thoughts we have, and we have like
Negative.
thousands, like I think it's like 60,000 thoughts a day.
That's,
Mm.
85% of them are negative
isn't that
You know,
crazy?
and repetitive
you said
and
repetitive.
repetitive and
Repetitive over and over and over.
negative and repetitive. So
Mm.
one of the things, Barbara, on those days when you are feeling slightly more a little bit negative towards yourself, that's when you get out your love letter again and read it.
Mm.
And when you were talking about the love letter, and even what you just said about the repetitive thoughts that we have in our minds about ourselves, when you said when you told Barbara she had to write the love letter to herself, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna write a love letter to myself. But then it hit me. First, do I understand and know how much God loves me? And
Exactly.
when I understand how much He loves me, according to His word, and I stand on this scripture, Isaiah 43, verse 4, that God honors us and that He loves us. And then when I'm able to pour into myself how much God loves me, then I can receive that love. Then I can love myself. And then guess what? In turn, pour that out and love others. So you had my wheels turning in my brains at the beginning of this show. I love you ladies. I mean, this show it's not just any old show. There is a takeaway. You're going to come away from this show changed. So I love Time to Shine, Happiness Show with the BBs, because y'all bringing it.
And the
You ladies
baby.
bringing it.
Well, thank you for the high praise. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Now we got to give it higher praise, and we got to let Mrs. Queen Kristina S. Shauntee, and I don't see that S in the middle, but anyway, I get on her about that. Put the S there. Tell us a little bit about you, lady, because I mean, you're just you're in my world, and I love you truly. And you met Barbara; she adores you too. But tell us
Yep.
some other things about what you do for the world. That's your lighthouse of the world.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for just inviting me to be on the show. I love sharing space with you two. I think you two are just some phenomenal women. The energy, the unity, the love that just exudes from both of you. You two are in a dynamic duo. Also, I've been meaning to tell you two that. Also, y'all are like a powerhouse. So
Yep.
it is a blessing and an honor to be able to share this platform with you today. But who am I? I am Kristina S. Shauntee. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a pastor. I'm a writer, soon to be host of a talk show. So I'm excited about that. I'm in a huge season of pivoting in my own personal life. I am a copywriter, but also mainly when I just said I'm in a season of pivoting, I am getting ready to turn 50 years old in a
Wow.
couple of months. So I am so excited about this year and what all God has for me. But literally, Barbara, you said something, Barb. You said something at the beginning of the show when you're trying to find who you are within yourself.
Right. Within what you
And
do.
when you're in the midst of a pivot, when you're trying to find out who you are in the midst of a pivot, you're going in a different direction, but your mission, your vision, and your purpose remains the same. But at the same time, discovering the new you. So that's a season that I'm in right now, and I'm excited to be in this season. But I want to talk just a little bit about me as a copywriter, because I know, Barb, you said, Barbara, that the show was going to be about also why a person needs a copywriter in their life. First of all, I love writing. How did I didn't even stumble into the profession of writing. I love writing. I love to read, first of all. I love words. But a copywriter is a professional that's tasked with creating and writing content for your client. It's content primarily for advertising, for marketing, and even for promotional purposes. The main objective is to create a compelling and persuasive message that effectively communicates a brand's message, their product, their service to its target audience. So that's what a copywriter does, and that's who I am. Right now, I'm also in a season of pivoting into more freelance copywriting, so I'm excited about that. I have my own company, CFC Creatives, and I love words, and I love when I have the opportunity, and I'm blessed with the opportunity to work with a client, and I don't take that lightly, because a client comes with a vision, and a mission. And you as the copywriter, you as the writer, have now been entrusted. You catch that word? Entrusted to now bring words to the vision and the mission. Does that make sense? And you've been entrusted to basically bring your client's voice to print. Bring their vision to print so all audiences and everyone can catch it and run with it. So I don't take it lightly, being a copywriter and just being a writer with anyone's life, because, and I say life because that's their purpose. People say brand all the time, and it's not just a brand, it's that person's purpose. It's what they were created in life to do. And yes, I am a pastor. I preach and teach from the pulpit with the fire of God, and I love it. But I also know God has called me to the marketplace, as a professional. And when God has entrusted me with someone's vision, Habakkuk 2 tells us to write the vision down, and then they will run with it. Make it plain. And so when my clients come to me, they come to me with their visions and their missions written down. And it's the responsibility of the copywriter to take that mission, to take that vision and run with it and bring life to it, speak life to it with the words. So as you can see, I love being a copywriter. I love being a writer. I do. And also I serve as a chief communicative officer for an elite marketing firm right now. And I love doing that. But as I said, I'm also in a very, very special season in my life where I'm pivoting. I've been married to my wonderful husband for 24 years. We have raised our beautiful sons together who are now university students. And I have pastored a wonderful, I think the best church, Courageous Faith Church, with my husband, alongside my husband for the past 10 years. We've been in ministry together for, oh my gracious, I think it's now 16 years. And God is pivoting me in a new direction. So I'm excited about what's to come.
Ooh. Yeah. Wow. Real quickly, I know Barbara wants to say some things, but I wanted to go back to what you said, Kristina, about taking a person, their vision, their mission, their purpose, and making sure it's written, like you said, in copyright written, that you're writing it out. So they're entrusting you to do that. Yes. And I think about with that, I think we all are part of that. Like we're like a little team here when you say that, because you take that, how to put it in words. I take it and I do it in video for people. Barbara takes it in the help part of it and stuff. And she's right. Okay, you need to make sure that your vision. So we're all three of us really to make sure that client, that person that we're in their lives, putting out there their vision, their mission, so people can understand who they are. And you know what? When you were doing the scripture about, we need to write the vision down. I think a lot of people need to understand the other part where it says, make it plain.
Plain. Yes.
A lot of times I can read people's information. I'm telling you, this is true.
Yes.
I read the whole thing. They do 2 or 3 paragraphs, and I'm like, okay, again, what do you?
But what do they actually do?
And that's why it's important to have a copywriter, because then the writer comes in and they make it plain for you. For your audience.
Exactly. Like one of the things that I caution on so often with my clients and stuff is that don't speak jargon.
Yes.
If somebody listening on the outside, if they can't, it's like with me when I listen to my sons when they talk computers. Oh, brother, it's a foreign language. It really is. It's a foreign language. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Sure. What does that mean when I press my button here on my computer? Bring it down to that level. And so often I find that when somebody does their own thing, they know their own stuff so well. But if somebody else doesn't know what they do, it's a foreign language and they're not hearing it. So how can you possibly attract somebody if they don't know what you do?
Well, they could get confused on what you're trying to say.
Confused on what they don't understand what you're saying,
And a confused mind doesn't, pay attention. Confused mind is tired, as they say. So you're putting all this lovely stuff sometime, and people like, well, okay, Barbara, what do you do? Just tell me, why you got all this fluff in there? What is it? What do you do for people? And I'm like, oops. And that's a real true story. That has happened to me. And I had to, massage that. What
does that mean?
Kristina right here, and she had to rewrite some things. She even told me, I will never forget, we had a session where I was in a magazine and I sent her my article. And I said, okay, do your magic. That's what I told her. I said, do your magic, because I'm not good in the area. She is. That's another thing. Get people in your life that are good, their expertise, and they're expert in it, and let them help you out. So she helped me out. She came back, and it was funny because she's so sweet. She's like, okay, I changed a few little things. So hopefully that was okay. And I'm like, if you need to rip it up, put it back. Because I know that I don't know how to do copyright that well. And it was so nice because she changed it where to the point it made more sense. It all combined together. It flowed. And I was like, that's it. So,
and what it was your essence. It was bringing your essence to the paper. And that's the thing about, and I apologize for just jumping in when you said that. You was like, it was all flowing, and it has to be that cadence. It has to be the essence of who your client is. We're in a time where there's Chat GPT, there's AI. And the thing about those generated writing and wording services is that they do not touch the essence, do not reach down and bring forth the essence of that human being. The thing about with my clients is I have to take the time to get to know them.
Right.
I have to do research. I have to know their language and specific words that they would use and what they would not use. But most importantly, I'm going to be very honest with you, ladies, I pray. I pray first with all of my clients. And you know what my prayer is? My prayer is, I told you, God, I'm a pastor, but he also has brought me into the marketplace, and I take him everywhere. And my prayer is, Lord, what is the voice that you have for them that you want the world to hear? God, you show me, you tell me who their essence and who their nature is. Let me see them the way you see them. And I always pray that before I even meet my clients one-on-one. Because I am catching who God says they are and what their purpose is. Because every time that I know someone reads something that I've written for a client or for, even if it's for advertising or a product, I know and I want them to be able to experience God through that writing and through that person, because I've been entrusted by him to write for them. So that's where that comes from, Barbara, where you talk about that flow, catching the essence, the nature, the character of your client, and then bringing voice and giving word to it.
And I think one of the things for me too is really getting in touch with, is this really you? for
Yes.
clients. Is this really you? Or are you trying to compare yourself to someone else?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that happens.
Yes. Yes.
And I can remember one of my guys it was like, well, why do you do that? Well, because I've always done it and because my dad did.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you had a magic wand right now, what would you be doing if you weren't doing this, what you're doing? And he was like a deer in headlights.
Wow.
But then all of a sudden he said, well, you know what? As a kid, I always thought I would want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I said to him, I said, well, okay, so now what can we do in the next 2 weeks to move you one baby step towards that? Oh, he came back. He was like a changed man.
Oh,
It was
wow.
like I had given him permission to dream again. And that's where I think when you can get back to that essence,
Yes.
that is such a good word, Christina. Get back to their essence of who
Mm-hmm.
they are,
Mm-hmm.
not what they're trying to be because somebody else tells them they're supposed to be.
That's right.
Who is their essence? What is their essence?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
It was
powerful when you get to that. When you get to that
when you
moment.
get to that. And it's powerful what Christina said, like you said, the essence.
Yes.
Now this is the funny part too, going back to her looking at my magazine article.
Yeah.
She even put somewhere, she's like, you don't say that.
That part.
Exactly.
That part.
That was like too funny when I put something in there that I probably knew I didn't say, but I put it in it because I thought it sounded whatever. And
It
she
sounded right.
She said, this is not Barbara J. Becker. You do not say this.
Yeah. And I did. I said, Barbara, this is not you. You do not use that word. And that's the thing. And why I asked you, Barbara, I was like, okay, so what is the show about? And you said, why do brands need copywriters? And that part right there, to catch the true nature and essence of the client. Because guess what? You'll have all this stuff in print. And then when you go to do an interview, and you start talking, and the words that are coming out of your mouth on that live interview is not matching up on that article or that website or anything else that describes you. That's why it's important to get that copywriter that spends time with the client, that gets to know the client, and then breathes and brings forth that client's personality through whatever that print is. Yes. And that was it, Barbara. I'm so glad you said that because I was going to mention that, but I'll let you mention that one. Yes.
And it's
absolutely funny. It was funny. I was like, wow, that just proves you that she knows me so well to the point where I was trying to put whatever.
Exactly.
And she
even we think it sounds good because when so and so said that sounded good. Yeah, but it's not something that we would say.
That's not you. Yeah, you don't say that, Barbara. She said it. She said, she said, what is this? You don't say
yeah, I was like, Barbara, what is that? And that's the key thing. When I spend time with my clients, I catch keywords or words that they repeat all the time, words that they say all the time. I do work with high end executives and high profile clients. I do have to sign NDAs with a lot of my clients. So I do hours and hours and sometimes weeks of research while I'll watch their interviews. I'll have them in my head. I'll be listening to them. I'll hear them. I catch key phrases, key words that they say on all the platforms that they're in, because that's what you have to do. You have to catch your client's true and authentic voice. Because if you don't, what you will create is a bunch of creative clutter. Ooh. And that's not good.
Right. Yeah, just you said that word is like, ugh. It's clutter, yeah. You don't want to be on this clutter in your
And I also want to say this about working with clients, and when we are responsible and we've been giving the beautiful blessing to work, and that's all of us. That's what all of us do. All three of us work in the area of branding and marketing, and all that great stuff. But the thing about it that we always want to keep in mind is don't take it for granted. Right. Don't look at your clients as cash cows. I know I just was blunt on what I just said because that's not what it's about. Because at the end of the day, we have to answer to God. Were we good stewards with this client? Was we good stewards with the visions and the purposes and the plans that you had for their lives, and you entrusted us to be good stewards in whatever roles that we played in that person's career. We have to answer back to God. So everything that we do, we have to do it in excellency unto the Lord. And I want to mention something. Most of the time, when my clients first meet me, they don't even know that I'm a pastor. They don't usually find out until later on. But I don't come in as Pastor Kristina because I shouldn't have to say that. It should be the heart of God that exudes out of each and every one of us and everything that we're called to do. Because the thing about it, all of us has a pulpit. Your pulpit could be the branding part. Your pulpit can be doing the graphics. Your pulpit could be doing the coaching. But whatever it is, do it with honor unto the Lord and do it in excellency. Whatever you do, do it in excellency. Meet deadlines, time, dates that you're supposed to meet it with your clients. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
We went to a big pause right there.
I know that was like, I said, okay. See, sometimes you just got to
you just got to take it in. You got to take it in because that's how I met Barbara. I met Barbara at a professional setting. It had to do with speaking and everything else, and did not say anything about it. Was not a church setting, no nothing. And when you carry the light of God and the glory of God, it's going to shine and it's going to attract people. And that's our whole purpose as believers is, are we winning? Are we fishermen? Are we fishers of men for Christ in all of our professions?
Right. Exactly.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. Like I always say, just going back what you said of talking about God in your life, I always tell Kristina, one thing that I put together is the fruits of the Spirit. I have it in front of me all the time because that's how first of all, I want to make sure I'm doing that. And then second, when I meet people, do I see that in others?
Right.
And that's when you know their fruit. That's when you know they're true, what they feel. Are they self-control? Are they patient? Are they loving? Are they, all that. And if there's a whole bunch of, like you said, what you said earlier, Kristina, about, clutter, it's like, okay, we need to pray for you. And I tell people, hey, if I'm cluttered, pray for me. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Or that's like with me, when I run into somebody who's trying to be somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they've always done that.
That's it, Barb.
And so, and like for myself, I mean, I realized that I spent so much of my life living in somebody else's framework. And and it's not that it was a bad framework. It just wasn't my framework. I came from a loving, supportive family, but it just was not my framework.
Right.
That I needed to grow and flourish. And so many people say that, oh yeah, you've really changed. It's not that I've changed, it's I've come into my own.
Come on, that's that part. Yes.
That is what is come in, be your authentic self. Like I've been doing some research lately on what are people looking for in the marketplace. And the number one thing is people who are authentically them.
That's it.
Be authentically you. If you mess up, fess up. Mess up. If you mess up, fess up, take the heat, and then go on. Be authentically you.
Yes.
I love, you're so, and people will appreciate that more. I always tell people when I'm talking to them about, putting themselves out there and being visible, they were like, well, I don't know what to say. How should I do this? How should I do that? I said, no, you just do you. I always tell them that. And I'd be really into them. I say, you do you. Don't do me. Don't do Oprah. Don't do anybody else. You do you. Because people will resonate with you that needs to resonate. And then you feel better in yourself because you're doing you. And if you make a mistake, that's life. We all make mistakes.
Right. I'll have to tell you one little funny story with when you mentioned the AI. You know what? And AI is a tool. I do use it for little things.
I do too.
But one day, one of the gals that I was talking to, she said, oh, let's do it in the style of Russell Brunson.
Oh, wow.
I went, why would you want to talk in the style of Russell Brunson?
I know.
You are not Russell Brunson. Why would you want to put something out there in that style? No, stop doing that.
Yes.
Be who you are. Because exactly, Kristina, what you said before, when you are putting something out in print and then you're doing something live, they're going to know that print was not you.
That was not you.
It
Yes.
wasn't you. Don't do that. Do you. That's so.
Yeah. I like that. Do you. I love that, Barbara.
Do you?
Because we know us ourselves. Well, and then learn to be who we are.
Yes.
And that's where that's the work that I do. Let's get in touch with who that, because you're not your job. You're not your job title. You are not all your roles. Because that's what happened with me. I was not, just because I was a wife and a mother and a daughter and a divorce failure, and then I was and now I was a widow. Well, who was Barbara in all of that? Well, guess what? I had to find out. I had to find out. But who has God meant for us to be? We have to find out, and that sometimes we need help to do that.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Sometimes we need help to do that, and because so often we get stuck in our past.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happened to me. Okay, fine, yeah, and that's part of what made you who you are now. But who do you want to be? Who do you want to be in 5 years? Who do you want to be next week?
Yeah.
Who do you want to be next week?
Yeah.
Who you want to be tomorrow?
Who you want to be the next second?
Who do you want to be this afternoon?
Yeah.
When you have to face somebody that you don't necessarily get along with. Well, who do you want to be in that situation?
That's yeah.
I'm glad you just said that, and what you just said about who do you want to be. I'm having a conversation with someone, and I said, as I'm pivoting in this new season of life, and I said, I am excited to discover the next best version of Kristina. Exactly. I am ready to discover the next best version of me. Right. And just back to what you just said, who are you?
Who are you? And that's like with me with Wellness Playroom. My tagline for Wellness Playroom, for the best version of you. What does that mean to you? What's your best version? And that can change. And that can change as we grow and as we mature and as heaven forbid we say the word age. As we age. We are not getting older. We are getting better.
Yes.
We're getting wiser. Yes.
Exactly. We are getting wiser.
Well, a song popped in my head when you said we're getting wiser. I know I heard there's a song. It was playing in my ear saying you get wiser, better. I forgot.
Yes, there is a song like that. What is it? It
just played in my head as soon as Christine said that. Now I got to go back to this because our time, and I want Christine to say any lasting thoughts, but I got to go back to what you said, Barbara, because it wouldn't be right for me not to say this. You mentioned divorce failure. That wasn't a failure. That was
my old label.
Yeah.
That was the old label that I had put on myself.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to get rid of. That's one of the things that I help people work with. Let's get rid of those old labels.
Yeah.
That was a label that I had put on myself and what it meant in my life. Oh, for heaven's sakes, Barbara, get rid of it.
Yeah, because it wasn't. I look at it because I just got divorced recently, and I don't look at it as a fake. I used to now, like you said,
but you used to. We used to.
Yeah, but it moves you to the next level in your life. And I said, now this is a jump to do the new version of me. So that's what you have to look at it as. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Thank you for bringing that out more. Yes. And that's absolutely the truth. I had to get over that.
Yeah.
What had I meant what had I meant? All those labels, what had they made me believe about me? Well,
yeah. Always start with us, like we've been saying.
We have to go back to who we are.
Yeah. So Miss Kristina, I know with the time, we got to bring you back. See, this is all that's about.
Yes. I got to come back and talk about the pivoting point, ladies.
Exactly.
You family. You got to come back. So Chris, just really quickly, just like in 30 seconds, can you and then we'll bring you on to talk more about the show that's coming up for you. Just give us just a little 30 seconds on, the reason why you said your mission, what do you want from that?
Okay, from the show Pivoting Point?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, ma'am. The Pivoting Point will provide a platform for insightful conversations, inspiring stories, valuable insights into the moments that shape our lives and contribute to, guess what? to the personal and the collective development of who we are in that season of our lives. So that's what Pivoting Point is about. It's from pivots to peaks. It's about sculpting change, one pivotal moment at a time. And I'm excited about it coming April the 3rd of 2024. Yes.
That
Well,
is so
congratulations.
cool. So needed.
So needed, yes. So Barbara, we can't end until you tell your...
Yes. Let's make happiness the norm rather than the exception, because each and every one of us deserves to lead a happy, healthy, debt-free, abundant life. That's what, in fact, I heard it on my scripture this morning again. Jesus came that we might have life and have it in abundance.
Yes.